Welcome back. This is our second conversation for this morning, and it's all about women in maritime. And we have joining us Jada Sutherland, who's the project officer at the Belize Port Authority, Miss Chelsea Pereira, who's a public relations officer at Coastal Planner at Coastal Zone Management and Institute, as well as Miss Jean Humes, who is a fisheries officer. And these women are also a part of the WEMAC Belize chapter, a non-profit, and they hold various positions as well in the Belize chapter. You have the director and president. I believe you're the public relations officer for WEMAC Belize chapter. Yes, my correction. And then also you have a member of the non-profit as well. Yes. We have Miss Jean Humes. A lot of hats, a lot of positions, so I had to try my best to get all of them right.
You did great.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
All right, well, we're talking women in maritime. Let's begin there. For persons who don't know about the work of maritime workers, let's start with that.
So hi everybody, thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate this platform, giving us this platform to bring more awareness to the maritime industry. Just to start off, it would be good for me to basically tell you guys something about maritime before we get into it, because sometimes when you're talking about maritime, a lot of people ask you like, what is maritime?
Yeah,
what is that
time?
about?
What time maritime?
What time is maritime? So just to, in a nutshell, to briefly explain. When you think about the maritime industry, it's best to think about waterborne commerce, and meaning in the sense that the clothes that we wear, the cars that we drive, the products that we have, all of these arrive here on water transportation. So we're thinking about the shipping industry. We're also thinking about the fisheries industry. Anything that has to do with vessels, anything that has to do with sea life, with water life, that is maritime. So when we think about maritime, that's what we're talking about. The shipping industry on a whole, but it's also international trade, anything that has to do with international trade, anything that has to do with that having an impact on the global economy. That is what maritime is about. So when we're talking about women in maritime now, we're looking at the women that are in this industry, and we want to focus on what they're currently achieving. So this organization that we're launching, it's the Women in Maritime Association Caribbean, but the Belize chapter of this association. And just to give a nutshell, how this association started, we have the International Maritime Organization. So this is a United Nations specialized agency that started decades ago. But what the International Maritime Organization does is basically create a framework that we use to give us guidelines and international standards that everybody in the world is going to use for maritime. So they basically set all of the regulations that we want to follow, and that's in Belize, anywhere in the Caribbean, in all the regions of the world. All of the people that are high up in maritime and are basically pushing maritime, they follow the regulations set up by that organization. So I believe it's in 1988. So a very long time ago, before I was even born.
Right.
The organization decided that, they were seeing a lot of issues in terms of like challenges with women in the industry. When you think about the maritime industry and you're thinking about shipping, you're thinking about the cruise and the cargo and the container vessels, I guess from off bat you guys can tell that it's a very male-dominated sector. And that's okay, there's no problem with that, but what we want to do is we want to push women in this industry. We want them to know that there's a lot of opportunities for you guys here, we just have to show you. And so we are realizing that because it's a male-dominated sector, women didn't know that they had opportunities to join the maritime industry, and so we want to show them that they can. So what IMO decided, the International Maritime Organization, I'm going to just use IMO because it's so long. But what IMO decided was that they needed to develop a gender program, and this gender program is specifically developed to basically continue pushing the agenda of the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, but specifically SDG 5. So SDG 5 looks at gender equality, and that's the focus of that. So they have their own agenda that they want to achieve by 2030. And in order to do this, we pretty much have to have women in maritime pushing for themselves, pushing for the industry, basically bringing more awareness to the industry in itself, getting equal opportunity, having professional development, networking with regional and local people as well. So the gender program is basically pushing that. So how the gender program started is they decided that they would have networks of women, and it's in different regions. So at first there was none for the Caribbean. They just had one for the Pacific, for Asia, for Africa as well. And they decided, you had two bold women from Jamaica who decided that, you know, we need one for the Caribbean. Like, there's so many people in this industry here in the Caribbean, in this region, and we don't have anything to represent us. And this was in 2015. And so IMO decided that, you know, we agree with that. We do think that there's a need for an association like this in the Caribbean. And so that's how the Women in Maritime Association Caribbean started. And Belize, we ended up joining with the assistance of the Belize Port Authority in 2017. We actually held a conference here, a regional conference in 2018 as well, and that's how the conversation started. But there was not a chapter as yet. So I joined the association in 2023. In early 2023, and I ended up going to one of the AGM conference that they held in Jamaica last year, October. And at that conference, they were talking about what their local chapters were achieving. So Barbados has already established their chapter, Jamaica has already established a chapter, Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, and some other countries as well in the Caribbean. And I realized that, you know, Belize doesn't have a chapter. Why don't we have a chapter?
Yeah.
And so, like, I was listening to them, and it was so inspiring for me, to be honest. And I said, you know what, when I get home, I need to go get one chapter.
You need to put one
yeah,
together.
I need to pull a chapter. And, like, it was crazy because I had no clue how to even start doing that. Because basically what it is a non-profit organization that's going to act in your country. So I'm like, God, how do I even start? Where do I start? Like, which direction should I go?
Yeah.
Luckily, I met this young lady from Dominica at the conference, and she was pretty much a big person that helped the Dominican chapter. And so I reached out to her, and she gave me a lot of advice. And she said, you know, I have this friend in Belize, and he can help you. He can guide you on like how to do this. And it was crazy because I knew the friend too, and so it's like, oh, Belize is so small.
Yeah.
So I had previously met him at some stakeholder engagements, and so like he kind of guided me on how to do it. He told me that you needed to reach out to the company registry, and this is what you need to do. I didn't know any of the legal aspects of that, but I started, and we're here today. So we're launching this thing in May, the 17th of May. And what the chapter itself is going to do is basically fight for the women here in Maritime locally. We want to use it to build up the maritime industry. We want to make people more aware of what we're doing. We have a lot of things going on in maritime. It's such a large sector. It contributes a lot to the revenue that we have in Belize, and a lot of people don't know that. Just from the mere fact of the ports, everything that we import, we export, it's contributing to our revenue. So actually, what I'm going to be talking about too, aside from the launch, is just some of the things that we're doing in Maritime, and I also want these ladies to talk about what they're doing as well, so that we can highlight not just women, but the industry too. So like, I work at Belize Port Authority, but I'm also the president of this association. And why I'm the president, I know people that say, oh, why you put yourself as the president? But it's just
But you did the work.
Yeah, I did.
You put it together, why not?
I did the work, but it's not even just that. It's just that I have a vision for it that I really want to see it go. I really want to see it get there, and sometimes it's just best to have the person that started it to carry out that vision. And I feel like when I've achieved the vision that I want to see it go, then I'm going to pass on the reins to somebody else to further it from there, and that's fine. That's how it should be. So I work at the Belize Port Authority. So like I mentioned to you guys earlier, that's how we ended up joining in Belize. It was just members from Belize Port Authority where I work. And what I had decided though when I'm launching this chapter is that I want it to be more diversified. So I started recruiting from these agencies, Fisheries. I sent a letter to all of their heads of departments. At the time, they probably just they get this letter and say, who's this person that's sending me a letter? Who is this person? What is this that she's trying to do? So the letter pretty much had to be concrete to say, all right, this is what we're doing. This is what we want to have this chapter do. The membership fee, all that type of stuff, all the details like that had to be in that letter. And surprisingly, I started getting a lot of good feedback. I had initially thought that this chapter would only start with about 10 to 15 women, and we're launching this chapter with 42 women.
Wow.
So that's amazing.
Now, Jada, before you continue, right, I'll have you take a breath.
I know.
Yes.
That
That was a well-rounded
it was
very detailed.
It was too much information.
That's okay.
No, it's great.
That's enough, and it gives us the foundation for the rest of the conversation.
Correct.
And what I appreciate the presentation is a group of young women, which speaks not only to the sustainability of this organization, but also it shows that there are opportunities in this maritime industry for young women. This census just showed that our population majority is 25 years old and a bit older. So that speaks volumes. Now, let me go over to Miss Gian, right? Miss Humes, speak a bit about your initial thoughts when you heard about this NGO, and why is it that you decided to join?
Well, first of all, I didn't know about Women in Maritime, but before I knew, for example, with Fisheries, we have Women in Fisheries Forum, where basically for women in fisheries, maritime, if you want to put it, come together, show support, and basically contribute and say what are their aspects or what are their contribution within the sector. So I thought it was something relating to that. And being that we already have a forum, what we need is more initiative, more individuals, so that we can have an increase in individuality when it comes to women being in maritime and women being in fisheries. So that was one of my main goals, or one of my main reasons why I wanted to join Women in Maritime, so that I can, I guess, be a role model, help with advocacy, and to say that the forum is here, the platform is here, we just need you to attend so we can be more visual and have the increase in women, and to basically show our contribution to this platform or to the sector.
As a fisheries officer, what's your work? What is your role?
I work in the ecosystem-based management unit within the fisheries department. So I oversee day-to-day management within the marine reserves. But apart from that, we have women all over fisheries. We have 21 individual, beautiful, remarkable women, 9 being admin and 12 being technical. So we have not only within the unit as administrators, we have coordinators, we have managers, we have biologists, and some even take the initiative to learn to drive boats, some dive. So, and apart from within the fisheries department, in the fisheries sector, women is integral. So it goes within the chain. So it starts from the fishing. We have fisheries women, or fisher women, and it's not a large number. It's like 2 to 3%. So we have like over 3,000 fishermen, and only between 7 to 100 being women. And then it goes into even the processing at the cooperative. We have women who are involved in the processing of the cooperative, the conch and the lobster. And then it goes even into the household. We recognize their contribution, whether it's mental support. They also help with the preparation of their husband or their common law going into the maritime or the sea space to get for help with their livelihoods. And women also help with selling these products. So within the whole stages or process, if you want to call it, whatever contribution it is, it's very significant, and we applaud and we take all of that into consideration.
Yeah. Chelsea, let's get you in the conversation. Let's talk a bit about what you do in the maritime space, and also why you had an interest in being a part of this chapter.
Okay, first I'll say that I'll do the interest part first. I had met Jada, I think it was at a maritime workshop when we were working on a policy. And I think we just became chit-chatting friends throughout the breaks, and we had kept in touch. And then after that, Jada reached out to me, and she was just like, hey, I'm starting this, you know, would you be PR? I mean, I don't think it was an option. But I said yes, and I had let my director know about it, and they were very excited for us to be joining WEMAC. What I do, I am the coastal planner at Coastal Zone. I'm proud to say that Coastal Zone is mainly woman dominated. Our director is a woman, our CEO is a woman, coastal planner is a woman. And then as the coastal planner right now, my main focus is under the Blue Bonds Agreement. We're working on Milestone 5, which is known as the Integrated Coastal Zone Management Plan. And this plan focuses on activities that are occurring within the coastal zone space. So you can have dredging, marine transport, marine recreation, all of these activities happening, but you know, they're happening at the same time. So the Integrated Coastal Zone Management Plan, while it is not a new plan, it was actually created in 2016, and it has a mandate to be revised every 4 years. As you know, the world is ever changing, so that's why we needed revision. But yeah, so the new one is due in 2025, 4. And yes, it's for us to make sure that these activities that are occurring in the coastal zone space happen cohesively and that we don't have user conflicts is the main idea of that. But also under coastal zone, we have other departments that deal with maritime, such as we have our data center, we have our sports fishing, we have the Belize Sustainable Ocean Plan, we have the reef resilience, and then at the same time, coastal zone manages Golf Ski. So for everybody looking out there, if you're interested in going to Golf Ski, you can contact our offices and pay the park fees, which is only $10 Belize for Belizeans to attend, to go to Golf Ski if you want to book a trip with your family and friends.
That's where we had our family day, our work family day
Yes.
last year. at
Yes,
Golf
yes.
Ski.
Well, this is obviously exciting. We're looking at a new venture for maritime workers, especially women in maritime, through the launch of the Belize chapter. I know you said, Jada, that there has been quite a number of persons that have shown interest in being a part of this chapter, but is there still an opportunity for other women who are maybe tuning in now or know someone that works in maritime to be a part of this nonprofit?
Yes, there definitely is. What I can say is that the chapter itself, for the launch event only, I have closed off applications for that, but just because I really didn't expect that it would be so many women.
Wow.
We have women from the Fisheries Department, from the Coastal Zone Management. I also want to highlight the women from Imar that are joining. We have women from the shipping agents as well, so Caribbean Shipping, Apex Shipping, BEC Logistics as well. And I can't forget Ministry of Blue Economy too, because they're in there too. So it's a lot of us, and we do have. What I can say too, what I'm glad for, and why I had Jan here is too, because we have 9 from the Fisheries Department alone that are coming on. So we're really excited. If we do have people that are interested in joining, that have a passion for maritime and want to take on this role, then they can reach out to me. I'm likely going to give you guys my email, so you can just drop that with the stuff. And other than that, we really are open to more people coming on. We're doing a lot in maritime right now, and we really want to highlight that. We really want to highlight the importance of it. Just where I work, because I didn't get to touch on that.
I was going to ask you next.
I was talking so much about these women, and it just goes to show that it's something that I'm passionate about.
Definitely.
Yes.
But in my job capacity, so I'm a project officer at the Belize Port Authority, but I'm also president of this association. But in my job capacity, what I do, I handle all the projects that we have going on. So we have several projects that we have at the Belize Port Authority that we're pushing to help build the maritime industry in Belize. So we have an economic and social study that we're working on right now, and this study is basically looking at the social aspects as well as the economic aspects of like how the maritime industry and the maritime sector contributes to the Belize's economy. So we're hoping that when we're finished with this project, hopefully by the end of this year, we can just use it to sensitize the public on what the maritime industry is contributing to the Belize's economy in terms of GDP, revenue, all of that. We're also working on a national maritime transport policy. So this is a huge thing because it's also in collaboration with the Ministry of Blue Economy. And what this policy is going to do is basically set guidelines for how we want to achieve things in maritime in Belize. It's a policy that's never been done before. So we're really looking forward to that, for that to get approved and everything like that. We're supposed to have a handing over soon too. And we're also launching a maritime single window. So you guys are probably like, what is a maritime single window? So basically, it's like an electronic window system. What we do at Belize Port Authority, along with other agencies, we have a clearance process. So every time a vessel comes to Belize, there's a clearance process that a vessel has to go through. That's for cruise, cargo, foreign vessels, smaller vessels.
And there's a lot of steps to that process,
Yeah, there's
right?
a lot of steps to the process. Like it starts like days prior to arrival. So there are 5 boarding agencies: Belize Port Authority, Belize Port Authority, Customs, Immigration Department, BAHA, our Belize Agricultural Health Authority, and our quarantine department as well. So there's 5 people that have to board each one of these vessels every time they come. And it's a whole lot of paperwork. And what we want to do, we want to use this system to basically streamline the clearance process to make it smoother. So like it's going to boost tourism in a sense as well, because when people are coming here, they're always complaining about, oh, the process to have our passengers come off their vessels in Belize, it's so long, there's so much paperwork, duplicate information that you have to give. And if we can have all of that in one system, it's going to make it a lot easier for everybody. So that's one of the big things that we're working on too right now. We're also looking into how we can decarbonize shipping. We're looking into how we can reduce GHG, greenhouse gases emissions as well. So that's large. It's a lot going on in maritime.
It is. It is. And we are out of time.
I know.
Unfortunately, we spend a lot of time discussing this important topic, and I just want to say kudos to you young ladies for stepping out and deciding to take on such a bold and daring initiative. I know it's just the beginning of it all, and we look forward to hearing more from you all, to seeing more of the work that you all will do, and I'm sure that we will see you all on set once again as soon as things continue to get rolling. So congratulations.
Thank you. If possible, I would just like to briefly highlight our sponsors for the event. I would really like to thank BET Logistics, Belize Port Authority, our platinum sponsors. Our gold sponsor, we only have one, which is Port of Belize Limited. We are very thankful for them. Our silver sponsors as well, Captain Sharks in San Pedro, and also Belize Marine Surveyors. They have been in full support of this, and we also have some other contributors, so we are very thankful to everybody. This launch is open to the public, so it's going to be held on May 17th. It's in the Celebrity Restaurant compound, the compound for them. So anybody that wants to know about it or learn more about it and see us, see the governing council get appointed that day, and we are also welcoming all the new members are welcome to come and attend that.
Yes, excellent. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations and all the best.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take another really quick break, and when we come back, the conversation switches into UB MBA program and tourism programs. Stay with us. We'll be right back.